Okay, so hi guys. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and um, so we're gonna basically go ahead and work on absolute value inequalities. Now these are considered one step, or maybe I guess it depends on how you see it. They're pretty I guess they're pretty simple. I would call them either easy or medium. So we're just going to go ahead and look at this, and also I'm going to teach you guys how to actually graph this on the real number lines. So yeah, so it says solve each absolute value inequality, then graph your solution on the real number line. Lastly, write your solution in interval notation and use the union symbol U as needed. Now for those of you that are in algebra, or college algebra rather, it really depends if you use the union symbol or not. I don't know how your class works, but basically, I do believe they teach you the union symbol when you're having, a union of two sets, right? So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. So this first one says the absolute value of 5x is less than or equal to 10. So there's a rule that says the absolute value of, let's say, ax, and if this is less than or equal to a number c, then, so if this is true, then ax, so then ax is less than or equal to c, or ax is greater than or equal to negative c. So this is the kind of the rule about, how to do this, right? So let me just go ahead and write it down again. So let me just put number one, number one, the absolute value of 5x is less than or equal to 10. So again, I'll just kind of, do this if I can. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the rule, right? So we have this, so this is kind of the problem, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, that means that, so if I have the absolute value of 5x is less than or equal to 10, then that means two things. Number one, 5x is less than or equal to 10, or 5x is greater than or equal to negative 10. Okay, so I'm just making it equal, kind of using this rule here, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve each inequality for x. So I'm going to say, so here we divide by 5. So I say x is less than or equal to 2. And then over here we do the same thing, divide by 5. And I say x is greater than or equal to negative 2, right? So what I can say is I can rewrite the inequality as, so this is negative 2 less than or equal to x, and this is x less than or equal to 2. So basically you can rewrite it this way, negative 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. And if you rewrite this in interval notation, remember that a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b corresponds to this interval, which is from bracket a to b bracket, right? So this would be an interval notation. It would be from negative 2 to 2. Now to graph it, you would draw number lines. So we would go ahead and just draw a number line, and I can go from negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So I can kind of draw a straight line and just, draw a number line like this. And I can basically graph the inequality, right? So so from -2 to 2, when there's a bracket, this basically means that we're going to use a closed dot. So if I say from -2 to 2, I'm going to go ahead and put a closed dot at -2, and then I'm going to put another closed dot at 2, right? So this corresponds to this one, and then this one corresponds to this one, right? So then, lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade in between those two parts, right? So this is how you would graph the inequality if, you know, the results, right? So basically that's the and by the way, we don't have to use the union symbol here, because the union symbol only corresponds to if there's, you know, there's something that goes on like this, and there's a point here, and then there's something that, and then there's another point over here, and there's something that goes, I don't know, like this, right? Then you would go from -infinity to this point to C, or to C like this, union, and then let's say this is B, union B to infinity. But I'll go over that in the next example, okay? So really, one last thing, this would be your final answer in interval notation, and if you want, you can also say that this is your answer, and this is how we graph it, right? This is the graph, or the number line, right? Okay, so this example says the absolute value of x plus 1 is greater than 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, again, we're going to state the rule. So we have the absolute value of x, and we can say plus or minus c if this is greater than a number b. So if this is true, then x plus or minus c is greater than b, or x actually, wait, hold on. It would be, hold on one second. Or it would be x, and it would be plus or minus c is less than -b, right? So really, you know, it'd be -b like this. So we're going to use this rule, right? This is a rule that we use. So using this rule, we can say the following: x plus 1 greater than 3. So then we have two things. We have x plus 1 is greater than 3, or x plus 1 is less than -3, right? So then we're just going to solve each inequality for x, right? So solve each inequality for x, right? So then we have x is greater than 2, right? So we subtract 1 on both sides. X is greater than 2. And then here, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to get x is less than -4. So now, we have two separate things, right? We can't rewrite it like we did up here, where we said from -2 to 2. This is like kind of a compound inequality, right? So basically, we're first going to look at x is greater than 2, right? So let's see. So on the number line, if you draw a number line again, so we're just going to draw a number line, and we're going to go from -5. Actually, we can do let's do -8. So let me go ahead and just draw the number line. Okay, so we're first going to look at this inequality, okay? So we have x is greater than 2, so I'm going to go to 2, and again, when it's greater than, we're going to use an open circle, excuse me, or a hole, they call it as well. So we have an open circle at 2, and we're going to shade all the real values, all the real numbers that are greater than 2. So we're going to go this way, right? And then we also have, so this is one of them, and then we also have the other one that's x is less than -4. So again, when you have a less than, you're going to use an open circle. So we're going to put an open circle at -4, and then we're going to shade all the real values that are less than -4. Now, if you want to state it in interval notation, when it goes like this, there's a union in between. So basically, the way that you would say it is, this is from -infinity to -4. Let's do this way. Hold on. So this would be, let's do -infinity to -4, and then it'd be union, and it'd be union, and then it would be parentheses 2 to infinity, right? So your solution in interval notation would be from -infinity to -4, -infinity to -4, union 2 to infinity, right? So this would be your solution, right? And that would be, and of course this would be the graph of, this is how you would graph it, right? You don't have to color code. I'm just using colors because I want to show you guys visually how it looks for those of you that are visual learners. But yeah, this is how you do both of these. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. And please like, comment, and or subscribe. And I think in the next video I'll do some that are a little bit harder. So yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.